is the principal contest of the evening. Frank Warren presents an international middleweight contest of 10 3-minute rounds, sponsored by Croxley Script, between presenting and introducing in this corner, ladies and gentlemen, from Trenton, New Jersey, Charlie Boston. And from Coventry, ladies and gentlemen, Errol Christie. At the weigh-in today, Boston scaled 11 stones 4.5 pounds, Christie 11 stones 8 pounds. The referee for this contest, Mr. Mike Jacobs. The timekeeper, Mr. Ted Turner.
So Mike Jacobs just making sure that the instructions that they've given him in the dressing room is okay, and there's the little tail of the tape very quickly. Southpaw. So he's certainly fought his share of Southpaw's Errol Christie. He won't be too bothered. Actually, Christie wanted to wear his white trunks for this one, but toss of the coin by the Border Control Inspector, so they didn't want to clash, so he went back to his old gold colour. And Boston's been around in the sparring camps with the best. Marvin Hagler, Roberto Duran. He's now actually working with Sugar Ray Leonard in Maryland. He's a very cute customer. You watch this now. He's not the easiest of opponents, I don't think. Trouble is, hasn't really been active enough. He's been a pro some time and only had the 15 fights, actually. One of the problems, he just ran into a bit of lead poisoning, really, I think, but he got shot in the leg during one of the riots in Trenton, New Jersey, and I think Uncle Sam had a word with him about that, and he spent a little bit of time in one of their hotels. It's incredible how they have this relaxed style gym. We're always on about that, at least I am. The Americans, you know, it's a tight match for him. He's away from home, yet he's trying to make this as though it's just another one on the card.
Yeah, I think Boston's going to be one of these fighters who's far more experienced than his record suggests. He spent a lot of time sparring with the best. I think we can expect him to have a good defence, very difficult to hit, and probably be good at pacing himself too. I think it looks already like quite a tough test for Christie.
I can understand why Leonard has booked to work with him, because he wants him to use the southpaw stance. Well, you can't impersonate Marvin Hagler, who can, but at least give him some idea. Certainly, I think Christie raised his game tremendously against Sean Mannion, and that does a great deal for confidence. Last year, he had a kind of in-and-out time where confidence was concerned. He admits it. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a catch-can contest, I think, until one can land correctly. His manager wasn't too thrilled about Christie coming in. I should say the American's manager wasn't too keen on Christie coming in at 11 stone 8. He thought the match was booked at 11.6. So he's having to give away nearly 4 pounds. Oh, what a right-hand punch. I said it could happen at one stage, but there's no way I thought the leading right hand like that would nail Christie right on the bell, and his legs buckled underneath him, just as we saw in the Mark Kaler fight, down early in the fight like that, and it looks as though he's cut as well. What a turn-up for the book. Not a known puncher, Choo-Choo Boston. Let's have a look at him replay, Jim. There it is.
He's not a known puncher, Reg, but that was a lovely punch, bang on the target. And straight away the first round, there it goes, caught him bang on the target, and I think Christie is very lucky the bell sounded when it did.
And let's have a look at it from the overhead camera, and in fact it was the punch that called the cut, because they hadn't been in any close position before that, and he really did drop him like a log there. Well now, it's big recovery time, isn't it, from Christie? He's been stopped, remember, by a light heavyweight. in the first round, Joseph says, but made excuses for that in 46 seconds, actually. Now, is Boston going to buy time or come out and throw some more bombs? In the second, well, I warned you from the off, this was no mug, the American, and he's turned out a little hotter than I thought. There was a time when he got up to number 5 in the WBA ratings, Boston, and that, as I say, enforced inactivity. It's going to be a hard job, Jim, for Christie to take a little bit of the play away now from Boston. He's got to fancy his luck.
Well, Christie had a difficult time trying to land in the first round. Most of his punches were falling short, and the last thing he needed was dropped with the last punch of the round. It's the last thing his confidence needed. But he's finding it difficult to get into range. It looks as though he's nicked Boston over the right eye. But that's just a little slashing punch. He's finding it difficult to land cleanly on Boston. A very cute customer, right enough.
Minute gone in the second. I often smile when they talk about in soccer, when the team scores with a minute to half time, and they all say, oh, that's the worst time. Well, there's nothing like getting hit on the chin at the end of the first round. He's getting all the encouragement from the crowd now, Christie. It's a brave enough show. Like that. Well, at least Christie's not backing off, Jim, which is saying something for his confidence.
No, I think he's managed to put the knockdown out of his mind. He's trying to take the play away and push Boston back, but he's still having trouble landing his big punches on Boston. Boston's very slick, the way he just pulls his chin out of distance at the last second.
A little bit troublesome, the cut around Christie's right eye. Good solid jab coming in there, and he needs plenty of those. Now, was that a flash in the pan, or can this American do it again? So they breed them tough in Trenton, New Jersey, I should say. I nearly said Newark. That's where Hagler comes from. He's bleeding around the right eye a bit more now. You can probably see that. So they've really got to go to work there then. They've both got the matching set. And the London public and Gary Davidson's working on that. There's some more stats about Charlie Choo Choo. And there's Jimmy Tibbs working there on Christie's cuts, and there's the biog for him.
Come on, breathe deep. Come on. Now you're coming back to this is what it's all about. It's a man's gun, right? Come on, get the centre of the ring, get your hand back, beat into the jab, and then the right hand. Jab cross. Right? Stand up.
Into round 3 then of this turns out very explosive start between Errol Christie and Charlie Boston. Well, when Christie had to go up in class, we knew that he was going to really be tested. Sort of a tactic should he adopt now, Jim, do you think?
Well, Boston, to me, it looks like a right-handed southpaw. Most of his powerful punches are coming from his right hand. He hasn't done too much with his left. It might be an idea for Christie to keep his own left hand nice and high and pot shot with some right hands. He's not really having any success with single punches. He's going to have to move in and let go some hooks with the right hand and think about defending with his own left hand, I think. But they're a very slippery customer.
Just a loss of footing there. Got very untidy. 2 falls and a submission. By the look of it, he's all over the place, Christie. He must have tagged him there. I didn't really notice that, Jim. I just thought he lost his footing. What did you think? Yeah,
I think he lost his foot and just couldn't get his rhythm back again. I don't think he was hurt there at all. But you'll notice there that all the punches were coming from Boston's right hand. I think that's where the power lies. There's another one.
When he catches Christie on the temple there, he does it. Just a little bit of a quiver. Interested spectator here tonight in Tony Simpson, who's well, he must be rooting for a Christie verdict because he wants to fight him sometime next year. It'll be a bit of a hot match, assuming he can overcome this one. Minute to go in this round. Just waving there, Mike Jacobs, to keep the punches up. Well, the old writing's been on the wall a couple of times there now. And we're inside the last half minute again, but can he hang on this time? He was scrambling early on, Jim, and now we know why. He was definitely hurt and he hadn't fully recovered.
Every good punch that lands in Errol's chin is shaking him up now. I think he's in severe trouble.
Well, it looks like he could survive this round anyway. Who knows? He's walking onto that right-hand punch a bit. Oh, and another. Sounded like an orchestra to Christie as he really went back to that corner there. I tell you, he almost held on the ropes as though he was looking for a quick exit for a second.
Roll. Don't worry about it.
Oh, it's a hard job in the corner for these two to try and get Christie to come back again. We'll have a look at this replay now. There it is, look, the long punch. It wasn't the right hand that started that. He led with it. He dropped his hands there, Boston, so he knew he'd hurt Christie. So, quick word from Tony Simpson with Gary Newman.
Some fight this, Tony, but is Errol going to survive?
I think he can, because the other kid looks like he's blowing up now. He's just got to keep his hands high and keep out of trouble.
But can Errol really take a punch? He keeps going down.
Well, the kid ain't noted to being a puncher. He's a sparring partner, so obviously he's not fit to the world ratings. And he gets tagged, so he's got weak legs or something.
What do you think's going to happen?
I think he can win the fight.
Errol?
Yeah, Errol.
Round 4. Well, let's see if Simpson's prediction's true. You know what they say, the jockeys are not always the best judges. But I tell you, in this kind of fight, I mean, he's so full of running, isn't he, the American, that your heart goes out a bit to Christie because he's not able to take the play away and stamp himself on this fight. Jim?
Well, Christie's been so badly shaken by some of these punches. I don't know if he has the natural strength or powers of recovery to get back where he should be. I'm looking at his legs now rather than his eyes to see maybe if the strength's back in there and the coordination. He still looks a little bit shaky. I don't know if he has the powers of recovery that's required to get himself back into this again.
He's almost signalling the punches, Boston, Jim, really. Flicks out with the right hand lead, shakes himself out a little bit, gets a bit loose, and then just pops the left hand over. Yeah, well, Christie's waiting a bit for him.
But you can see how difficult it is to catch. He's been making Christie stretch all the time, pulling him off balance and then snapping back with counters. He is really like a typical sparring partner, but he still has the youth and the drive and some ambition of his own. But he's very cute, very cagey, and he's making Christie make a lot of mistakes.
Well, he's certainly got some cheers for ducking cleverly away out of that one there, Christie, and he needs to. Well, as I say, Choo-Choo Boston was saying in the dressing room, I'll be there, and when he comes at me, I won't be there, and it's turned out right. Low punches. Mike Jacobs really laying into him there. But they've got the obligatory foul-proof protectors on, and full marks to Boston. He didn't even blink or complain. Well, Tony Simpson might be a bit right there, Jim, but this fella could be punching himself out a little bit.
Well, his pace has certainly dropped, but his concentration is still good. He's still looking for the openings, still keeping his own chin out of trouble.
Well, he couldn't follow up too much advantage there, Boston. I must say, Christie's tried to get his work rate going a bit better here. He wants another look at the cut. No, he probably got a little bit too much Vaseline around there, Jimmy. Well, the Tips cornerman saying, get out there and pretend this is the first round. Start all over again. Takes a bit of doing when you've been under fire like that. As I said right at the introductions as they were coming into the ring, is a different type of opponent to Sean Mannion. Mannion, with all the heart in the world, would come at him and make it just an ordinary target. But this fella's really a slippery character. What do you think, Jim? You think Boston is just flagging a little bit?
Yeah, well, he's never boxed at a pace for very long. I thought, as I said at the start of the fight, he would know how to pace himself. I don't know if he's just doing that now, taking a rest. He knows he has the power to hurt Christie. Every good punch he's landed is shaking Christie. So maybe he's just biding his time, looking for a spot to bang that right hook over again. But Christie's taking the play away from him now, and Christie's the man doing all the work.
And he's certainly got it to do as well. Thing is, if you've been in training camps for the likes of Marvin Hagler, even with a head guard on, I suppose these sort of punches are comparatively pat a cake. I think these are the moments, Jim, when you realise how different the pro game can be. You know, he was a great amateur with 11 titles in the Guinness Book of Records, etc. Yeah, now he's cut and having to grip the teeth. It's a hard old game.
Yeah, amateur boxing and pro boxing, two entirely different sports, actually. But Christie has always had plenty of courage and plenty of grit. Just a couple of times his chin has maybe let him down at the wrong time, but he's never lacked courage, and he's showing it here because he's driving himself on. And he's winning the previous round and this round because he's doing more work. He's not having a lot of success, but he's doing more work in Boston.
Oh, there it is again.
I'm saying that.
And he's standing off. He's really now tormenting him. We could do without that. At least Christie could. And you see there he's floundering again. This is the problem with Christie. The legs go on him very quickly. And again right at the end of the round. And I'd like to get an opinion of Lloyd Hannigan.
Well, I thought Errol was doing very well to survive. Very, very well. But he seemed to be messing around instead of doing his job by calling the fella to come on. I think he should be just be pushing him back, keeping the fella away, just keep jabbing, because getting hit like that, he's going to get stopped if he keep on getting caught with those long punches.
Briefly, has he still got a chance?
I think he's got a chance if you stay away from the fella. Don't let him come to you. Push him back. And if you keep coming to Errol, I think Errol might be getting stopped again. And you should just keep jabbing, moving around. Don't mix it. Okay. The fella is very strong.
Lloyd, thanks very much. Back to you, Reg.
Concentrate.
Thank you, Lloyd. Certainly is an all-world champion here tonight with the commentaries. So there must be some anxious moments going over there in Christie's corner. Coming out for round 6. And I must say at the start, very happy for Christie's sake that he's been able to get this far, Jim.
Yeah, well, he's been shaken badly once too often. See, the thing is, not too many fighters learn the art of boxing on the retreat. That was a good left hand from Christie there. That hasn't shaken Boston at all. It was a good punch. And see, Boston can box coming forward and they can box going back, and this is what makes them extra difficult for Christie. Whatever Christie does, Boston seems to be able to cope with it.
They both had a good look at each other on the videotape, by the way, so they knew something about each other's styles. On Boston's record, when he outpointed Dwight Davison early this year, that shows you what class he was, because there was a time when Davison was world number 1. Tony Simpson looked in. And he came off the deck in a flash knockdown in the first round to give Doug DeWitt a really tough fight. And DeWitt gave Tommy Hearns all the trouble he could handle. So, as I said, there's a real competent performer, this fella. They can dig about the gymnasiums in America. It never ceases to amaze me after all these years, actually. See it. That's the payoff, isn't it? So we can call snap on that one, because he really got his own back there, Christie, in the 6th round. A peach of a right-hand punch coming through. Now that could turn the whole fight around. Now, he's going to be Roy of the Rovers if he can do it now, Jim.
Well, that's exactly what Christie needed, a little bit of success, just to build his confidence in it. He still has Boston on the defensive. Another good clean shot is exactly what he's needing.
Minute to go then in the 6th.
Christie wants to get out of there and keep it at long range. He's never hurt Boston close up. He wants to keep it at long range. That's the punch.
Oh, the uppercut was a beauty. He's got a good chance of stopping him, I would think, and this fella does not get stopped easily. A minute now. I don't blame Christie biding his time there. The last thing he wants to do is punch himself out trying to win. Maybe he was eavesdropping on Lloyd Hunnigan there, who was telling him he's got to take the fight to Boston, and he has done.
Christie's not taking full advantage. He should be trying some more right hands now. He's got Boston at the range he wants him. Too late.
Well, they've got to pull this fellow together rather quickly now. That's really surprised him, I tell you that. So here's the knockdown now in replay. And I think we're going to see the perfect shot. There it is. Bingo. Right flush on the face, Jim, really, wasn't it?
That was bang on the chin. That was a good punch. Look at Boston's legs as this punch lands, if we can see it. Stiff, and over he goes. That was a perfect shot. Lost control of his legs, but he did recover very quickly. But the punch did take it.
So this is not a knockdown now. This is a replay of the combination of shots that Christie was throwing there. He really fancied his luck there, and can you blame him? Because sort of, well, almost coming from nowhere in trouble. Round 7. And now's the time for Christie to try and just put that into a top gear now, if he can. Easier said than done, of course. Well, getting off the deck like that is a bit of a show saver, isn't he? Now he's going to be a bit defensive now, Boston. Now he's more inclined to use the perimeter of the ring. He's still a bit... Got to be wary of him, Christie. I mean, when you've been on the deck a couple of times like that, Jim, you can't take liberties, can you?
Yeah, well, I don't feel Boston's looking for a points when he seems just to be keeping his eye on the target all the time, looking for a spot and going for it every chance he gets. Christie's been doing more work than Boston over the last few rounds, and the knockdown will certainly help the point situation. So Christie wants to keep doing what he's doing, but do it nice and carefully, don't take any chances, and keep Boston out of range, pin him on the jab.
Showing a few of the old bumps and bruises of battle there, Christie. As you were saying, Jim, well, there's the right hand again. He just stepped in range with that. He got a bit nearer to Boston then. And if that had landed, he'd have been nearer to Boston as well. So inside the last half minute of the 7th. Oops, he's got to watch that. He must not be careless at all, Christie. He should really start firing punches with him instead of taking a few and then opening up. Still got a little bit of fire in his belly. He definitely looks as though he's flagging a bit to me, Boston. But he has done for some time. So there's a quick fight analysis there about Christie knocking out top 20 of his 26 opponents. But he's been knocked out twice as well. So, word then, please, from Lloyd Hannigan again.
Well, Reg, Errol's doing the right thing by pushing the other fella back, Boston, but now he's letting him come forward again. I think he just got to keep pushing him back, because when he let Boston come forward, he's taking the play away from him and he's getting back into the fight. At the end of the round there, he was getting back into the fight. Errol got to keep pushing him back. Don't let Boston come forward, because he's going to get caught again. And I'm a bit worried about that, because me and Errol's a pretty good friend. And I don't want to be in the studio watching him getting knocked out.
Your career's on the line, son. Chin down, concentrate, right? Use it to it. Don't let one another down, right? Get the points off them, then let the right hand.
So round 8 there, Jimmy Tibbs really blowing into Christie's ear. You know your career's on the line here. And Lloyd Hannigan quite rightly saying he's got to unload and keep this man being pushed back most of the time. Well, I tell you what, Jim, if we could only all give him this advice now, he'd be winning easily, Christie, wouldn't he?
That's one of these situations where it's easier said than done. But Christie's got his act together. He seems to have recovered from the severe punches he was taking earlier on. He's looking more businesslike than the American, but still nice and careful. Keep pushing him back, taking the sting out of his punches, but don't take any chances.
Well, that's a bit cocky defiance there. Oh, there it is again when he unloads with that. Watch that leading right hand, and when he turns it into a hook. Christie's really got to shoot the right hand over. That's it, but he missed with it. He's going to have a go again in the first minute gone in the 8th round. Nobody looks good under punishment, Jim, but Christie tends to just flounder a little bit, which is a bit worrying.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem to have the punch resistance that a middleweight needs. He has the courage, he has the heart and the determination, but now and again I think the punch resistance is just lacking.
See the left-hand punch that time. Kidded to him with the right-hand lead. Overcame the left-hand punch in the 8th round. And I tell you, the eyes are looking distinctly glassy from the commentary position here at ringside. With a minute to go. And it looks, I think, that Boston is going to do it in this round. And it's all over. Mike Jacobs deciding the compassionate way out. In the 8th round then, a real upset for Errol Christie, who really was just cracked into the International Boxing Federation ratings at number 12, and this very much a hot shot from Trenton, New Jersey, a cocky guy, but I must say the crowd are giving him the applause that he deserves, because a real pro workman indeed, that one.
Now, gentlemen, please. After 2 minutes, 10 seconds of round 8, ladies and gentlemen, the referee has stopped the contest with Christie not in a position to continue.
So then the overhead shot in this replay now came 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And there it is. Jim, have a look at this action again.
Yeah, well, just as we were saying, Christie's punch resistance let him go. It didn't look a tremendously hard punch, but when you see the way his legs have gone and the way he looked when he stood up again, it's just that little bit short. And I think the referee did him a favour, saved him being knocked out cold. But not tremendous punches, but look at the way Errol's gone over.
Into the second round, scheduled for 10 this welterweights. And one of the most competent campaigners in the game in Sylvester Mitty. And I think he'd be the first to tell you that too, Jim, mate. I'm always saying he's one of the last around today that you boxed a lot with.
Yeah, I sparred with Mitty just when he turned pro. He's always had plenty of class and plenty of confidence. He's had it a bit tough, as I say. His top level fights have always been against real good fighters. But I don't see Montano having much to trouble him with, unless maybe the heads bang together. Sylvester's doing as he likes so far. He's getting his jab working now nicely.
But as you say, he mustn't let his performance down at all, and certainly at the moment he hasn't done that, hasn't got slack at all. And it's very much one-way traffic. A good game, little fella in front of him now, I must say. Oops, he just got a little slash with the right-hand punch there to let Sylvester know that it isn't all easy. It's amazing, Jim, when you think of the number of guys on the circuit, good, willing fighters that always come to give you some value. He took a real good shot, the right hand there.
Yeah, Mitty's nailed him a couple of times with the right hand. He's taken them well, and when he takes a punch, he gets his hands up to protect himself from the next one. He's a good survivor, as I say. He hasn't done anything to trouble Mitty yet. A couple of right hand cuffs, but Mitty looks quite happy at the moment.
Aha, look out, he's going to creep up on you somewhere there, Mitty. Adrian Morgan, the referee, doesn't get too many appointments for big fights in the London area, so I'm sure the Boxing Board of Control are having another look at him, as they say. So inside the last half minute of the second, and it really is a sort of careless punch, like a lady throwing a handbag with that right hand. So working in the corner there, Ernie Fossey, and I think Mitch is very aware that he's being watched tonight by the world champion Lloyd Honeyghan back in the Thames ITV studio. There's the gentleman working in the corner there. Fossey's in the red tracksuit. Old Islington lightweight. World Boxing Council number 12, Mitty. So let's have a look at some replay there, Jim. This is where he was ducking and diving a bit.
Yeah, well, Mitchell landed a good right hand. I don't know if this is it. Yep, no, he caught most of that one on his gloves, but Mitch has thrown some good right hands.
Bit late coming out for work there, Montano. I don't blame him, sneaking every second in the third round. Very competent display indeed by Mitty, of course. Once he's weighed the man up, he does a very workmanlike job. Well, he's doing his best now to be a bit of a Houdini act there, Montano. I can't blame him. Suddenly realises, I think, that Mitch is a little bit better boxer than he'd anticipated. They're used to sort of fighters who come in and are a bit obvious. You know exactly what they're going to do. And as Jim Watt said, he's been a survivor, but he'll do well to survive this one. Time out. He wants to walk over there and just check the left eye, the cut around it, and he wants to have another look at that one. The doctor doesn't get called on these. It's just the referee wants to talk to the seconds and say, wipe it, let me see it properly. And no, it's all over in the third round. After a minute in the third round, a nice, competent, and I must say one-sided victory for Sylvester Mitty, who's now really looking to fight it to Kirkland Lang. He doesn't mind having his photograph taken, Victor. He loves them. Could you send me 3, he's saying, yeah. So there you see, tending there to the cut that caused the problems, and quite rightly the referee having a good look at it and then stopping it.